Thomas was a successful man. From nothing, he rose to become the vice president of a major marketing firm in New York. Suits crisp, schedule packed, million-dollar deals, his life was a nonstop whirlwind. To the outside world, he was the ideal image of success. But to his son, little Lucas, Thomas was just a father who was always busy. Lucas was only 6, a sweet boy who loved drawing, building blocks, and sitting by the window every evening, hoping his dad would come home early to play. But most nights, Thomas came home late, tired eyes, loosened tie, phone still glued to his hand. "Daddy, can we play together for a bit?" Lucas would ask eagerly. But Thomas always gave the same answer. "Not today, buddy. Daddy's really tired. Maybe this weekend, okay?" And when the weekend came, there were emails, calls, and promises forgotten. One evening, while Thomas was working in his study, Lucas walked in holding a small notebook behind his back. "Daddy, I made this for you." Thomas glanced at the clock, sighed, and turned around in his chair. "All right, let's see it." Lucas handed over the handmade notebook. The cover was colored with crayons, full of hearts and cute stars. Inside were drawings of them flying kites, going to the park, eating ice cream together. Thomas flipped through a few pages, eyes still on his phone. "Yeah, that's nice. Daddy will look at it later, okay?" Lucas nodded and quietly walked out. He didn't say anything, but the sparkle in his eyes had dimmed. Then came the turning point. It was a Tuesday morning. Thomas was rushing out for a big presentation when his wife, Emily, ran in with a pale face. "Thomas, the school called. Lucas collapsed during PE. They think it's something with his heart. He's at the hospital." The keys slipped from Thomas's hand. He raced to the hospital, heart pounding, mind flooded with fear, regret, guilt. When he arrived, Lucas was lying in a hospital bed, pale, small hand hooked up to an IV, surrounded by cold beeping machines. Emily was beside him, holding his hand tightly. Thomas approached, trembling, and took Lucas's hand. "Daddy's here now, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. I should have been here all along." Lucas opened his eyes, barely a whisper. "You really came." A single tear rolled down his cheek. Doctors said Lucas had a congenital heart condition, not severe, but would need proper care and rest. He would be okay. Thomas nearly collapsed, with relief, but also with a silent, soul-deep pain. He had almost lost the most precious thing in his life because he was too busy. From that day on, Thomas changed completely. He didn't just promise to make time. He made a decision to live it. He resigned from his high-ranking job, took a simpler role with less pay, but one that allowed him to come home early every day. No more phones at dinner. No more maybe tomorrow. No more little boy waiting at the window. Instead, there was school drop-offs and pickups, afternoon block towers, drawing, reading, story time, and real heartfelt listening. That old notebook, Lucas's treasure book, was now laminated page by page. Thomas carried it in his bag every day as a reminder. Nothing is more valuable than the time we spend with those we love. Years later, at Lucas's high school graduation, Thomas sat in the crowd, eyes glistening as his son stepped up to speak. Lucas, now a calm, thoughtful young man with a passion for art and a heart just as gentle as when he was a child, looked toward his dad and smiled. "There was a time when I thought my dad never really saw me, that I was just a shadow behind his busy life. But then, he came back, and he stayed. He showed me that love isn't just in words, it's in being there, truly being there." The auditorium erupted in applause, but Thomas just smiled, eyes misty, as Lucas stepped down and hugged him tightly. That evening, Lucas placed a new drawing on Thomas's desk, the two of them sitting on a bench by the lake, watching the sunset. In the corner, in neat handwriting, it read, "The time you spent with me, that's what I'll remember forever." This time, Thomas didn't wait for a break to look at it. He quietly got up, found a frame, and hung the picture right by his desk, then turned to his son with a warm smile. "Thank you for teaching me the most important lesson in life. Let me know if you'd